what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves one speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Breakthrough Conversations with Rhoda Company. This is where we have real, powerful conversations that help you grow, glow, and lead with intention. So today's episode is titled Leading with Intention, HR Stories from the Front Lines. And let me tell you, I'm so excited. This conversation is going to be packed with wisdom from someone who has truly been in the trenches of people leadership and been on the front line. So I'm excited to welcome Riunita Martin, a dynamic senior human resource business partner with over a decade of progressive HR leadership experience and more than 20 years in corporate operations. So y'all know that means she's been in leadership from every angle. She's seen it from every angle, from the plant manufacturing floor to the executive table. So through her career, Riunita has supported major business growth initiatives. She's helped shape employer brand strategies. She's partnered closely with executives to navigate complex organizational change. And she brings this beautiful balance of disciplined business acumen and heart-centered leadership, a woman after my own heart, using data and strategy to drive results while never losing sight of the human experience. So her leadership philosophy is rooted in creating people-first cultures grounded in psychological safety and accountability, spaces where employees can truly thrive and leaders can excel. And let's talk about her credentials. So Riunita holds a bachelor's degree in psychology. She's a certified professional human resources, a certified change management professional, and has completed advanced leadership training through Cornell University. I took some Cornell University e-courses in diversity and inclusion. Great university. But beyond the titles and certifications, what I love most is her passion for intentional leadership and the stories she carries from working across multiple industries, especially manufacturing and telecommunications. So get comfortable, lean in. Let's dive into this powerful conversation. Riunita, welcome to Breakthrough Conversations.
Thank you so much, Rhoda. I don't know who that is, but I'm just a standard guest.
So,
I guess I'm waiting for the other person to join the line.
Right. You didn't know. Sometimes we're so busy acquiring experiences and getting education, we don't pause to realize what all we have accumulated and how we've grown. So that is definitely you. And so you've worked across the industries, five different industries, I think.
Yes.
What initially drew you to HR and what's kept you passionate about the work?
Well, I started off early in my career working for 2 Fortune 500 companies.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about 14 years of extensive training, professional development, personal development. And I was able to acquire a pretty strong business acumen. I was called on several times for my opinion, my input. I was a part of several leadership roundtables, executive roundtables, HR roundtables.
Right.
And it was to speak to the business decisions and how they would impact people because I had the voice of the people.
Right.
And I actually was later, asked would I consider if at some point, down the line or whenever HR became available, would that be something I'd be interested in? And, I thought about it. I was like, hey, I have the trust, I have the ability to influence, and I know how to advocate. So why not do it from a direct position rather than an indirect position? And so here I am.
Right. I love that someone saw that in you and asked you and invited you into the space.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you.
That's pretty special. And I appreciate that you also, had the courage to take the leap.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a great journey for me. And I know you asked me about what keeps me passionate about it, but actually what keeps me passionate about the work is doing the work because I know that there's work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done in organizations, but also seeing HR when it's done well,
Mm-hmm.
just seeing it as that strategic lever that it is
Yeah.
instead of just a support function. And
Right.
doing the work of moving it out of that support
Mm-hmm.
function and into that strategic lever, if that's
Mm-hmm.
not the case.
Right.
Across every industry that I worked in, Rhoda,
Mm-hmm.
the common denominator is this, people want to be led well.
Right.
And organizations succeed when they take that seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be a part of that wherever I am.
Now,
Yeah.
that's an excellent point you made. People want to be led well.
Well,
That is
mhm,
so true.
yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more about that. I know the last 2.5 years, you've worked, like you said, you started off in Fortune 500 companies, you worked in several industries, but the last 2.5 years, you've been in manufacturing, which we
Yes.
know, I never even worked in it, and I know that it can be its own unique beast. What makes leadership in that environment unique?
I would say the uniqueness is the high visibility of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, leadership is constantly on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the direct vicinity of the employees
Okay.
where the product is being made,
Mm-hmm.
and they're there, all throughout the day, and they're there all the time. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't see that in other industries. Of course, you
Right.
see leadership, but they're not as visible as they
Right.
are in manufacturing, in my opinion.
That's true.
Also, the other unique thing, which may be more unique, is that when a problem happens, leaders in manufacturing don't have to wait to get on the phone or
Mm-hmm.
create some type of meeting or go into
Mm-hmm.
a conference room. They actually go to the problem and problem solve exactly where the problem happened, and
Mm-hmm.
that I do love, where
Mm-hmm.
you can actually go to whatever department wherever this happened and you see people in a group or in a circle
Mm-hmm.
problem solving instead
That's
of sitting in
awesome.
a conference room.
Okay.
Yeah,
I never
and I
thought
think
about
that's very unique.
Mm-hmm. And the point you made about leaders being present right there
Mhm.
in the space, in the moment, that is so true.
Yeah,
Yet, it's not, and I'm sure it is in some cases, but it's not perceived necessarily as micromanagement. It's just
right,
part of the DNA and how
right.
that type of industry runs. Yes.
Right, right. It's definitely not perceived as micromanagement. They
Mm-hmm.
they actually want to see
Right.
leadership on the floor. It's
Yes.
it's it's the opposite of somewhere else. When they don't see them on the floor, they think
Mm-hmm.
that there's a problem, or they feel neglected, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
They
Right.
want to see leadership
They
on.
want to see it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know you worked an extended period in telecommunications.
Yes.
So, how did your earlier experience in that industry shape how you show up as a leader today?
Well, I spent majority of my career in telecommunications.
Mm-hmm.
And telecommunications taught me the power of intentionality,
Right.
and that leaders don't manage systems. They lead
Mm-hmm.
people and they manage uncertainty. And I
Right.
actually pull from those years still
Mm-hmm.
today, just things that I've learned in the training that I've received.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fast moving, customer driven
Mm-hmm.
environment where change is constant. It is something that literally you could have changes literally every day,
Wow.
because that's how fast of a pace the industry is. So,
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to make decisions and be
Mm-hmm.
a strong decision maker.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I learned that accountability starts at the top
Yeah.
because it was modeled by the leaders there. And
Mm-hmm.
we were in a great culture because people really did model the values
Mm-hmm.
that we said that we had as a corporation and as a
Mm-hmm.
company. Also, culture, everybody wants to say culture sits with HR. Culture doesn't sit with
Mm-hmm.
HR, culture sits with leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that early on in my career because,
Right.
again, the leadership model these behaviors and these
Mm-hmm.
values, and they made sure that we all worked in an
Mm-hmm.
environment that was conducive to getting the work done, as well
Right.
as an environment where people felt psychologically safe.
Yes.
And that experience just shaped me totally as a leader and how I lead. I'm very intentional about communication,
Mm-hmm.
setting expectations, and just helping people navigate through change, because
Mm-hmm.
that was what was modeled
Yes.
for me to see.
Yes, that is so powerful. My last role actually had the word culture in it. And so
Mm,
and it was a new role and for the organization. And I remember early on really emphasizing that I don't own the culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I'm like, I say, visualize me as the choir director.
Yeah.
I say, but the leaders set the tone. You
Yeah.
all set the tone. So that's a
Mhm.
point well made. And you've actually used the word intentional a few times already. And I
Yeah.
know you're passionate about intentional leadership. What does that phrase mean to you personally?
Well, it means that it means that recognizing how I show up is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I have a choice every day as to
Mm-hmm.
how I'm going to show up. And it doesn't matter, what is going on, whether it's personal, whether it's professional. There is no such thing as checking something at the door, checking something at the
Mm-hmm.
gate. All of you have to show up. But when all of you show up, you have a choice in how that appears to everyone. So I make the conscious choice, daily,
Mm-hmm.
what it is, no matter what's going on, that I'm going to show up willing to listen, learn, and lead.
Yeah.
Those three things I'm going to do every day. And when I get outside of that, I have a way of just trying to refocus and bringing myself back to that, because
Mm-hmm.
those are the three things that I said that I'm going to do daily,
Yes.
no matter what it is or where I am. So it's also just choosing to, pause before you react,
Mm-hmm.
listen before you make a decision,
Right.
and just like leading with clarity,
Mm-hmm.
instead of making assumptions, so
Mm-hmm.
that your impact aligns with your intent, because they
Yeah.
both really do need to land the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't, good intentions don't matter,
It don't
if the
matter.
outcome creates some type of confusion or some type of disengagement. So you just want to make sure that you're aligning those two so that they
Right.
truly do land the same.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. Listen,
Yeah.
learn, lead. Listen,
Yeah.
learn,
Yeah.
lead.
I'm going to do
Yeah.
those every
Mm-hmm.
day,
Yes.
no matter what. And like I said, if I lose my focus,
Mhm.
I figure out a way to get me back to those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us about a time where you saw leadership done really well. Share a story or some example. What made it stand out?
I've seen leadership done well across all the industries that I've worked in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I have one particular story,
Mm-hmm.
but I can say where I've seen it done, where the overall leadership capacity has just
Mm-hmm.
been, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, is where I was in an environment where there was a clear understanding that having the right person in the right role matters.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was able to watch, two leaders manage the same team under, similar pressure,
Mm-hmm.
and one managed through control and fear, the
Mm-hmm.
other managed through trust and clarity. And
Mm.
the difference that you would see from the team is like the team was asleep with the one person and they all woke
Right.
up with the other person.
Right.
It was like a total difference in morale. The
Right.
retention was better, and the results, they were just undeniable. That,
Mm-hmm.
it really does matter, the type of leadership and the type of style that you use with
Yes.
people. That for me,
Mm-hmm.
stands out. And I think about that all the time. And I really do like to see this,
Mm-hmm.
because it just shows how well people can perform when they do feel like they're heard, or they
Yes.
feel like they are part of a process,
Mhm.
and they feel like they're part of a team. I love to see that.
Right. I agree with you. I talk a lot about leadership legacy
Mhm.
and your leadership shadow and the importance of both and the
Right.
impact that it has. And I really believe being in a leadership role, it's a great responsibility, and you have the ability to impact the mental, emotional well-being of the individuals who you're
Yeah.
leading. And I guess some people don't get that, or they don't care.
Yeah.
uh, because unlike you, you said you've seen it, you've seen great leadership.
Yeah.
And when I reflect back over my career, I've not. Like
Oh, really? Oh,
I've
wow.
seen the opposite. Like I can count on one hand the great examples of leadership, but
Oh,
I have more that was
you have more bad stories or not so
yeah.
great stories. Okay, I
Yeah.
got you. I got you.
So, and that breaks my heart. And that's another reason why I'm so passionate about legacy leadership and the impact and us being intentional. And instead of putting leaders at the center, we should put the employees, the humans at the center.
Oh,
And
absolutely. I was on a call yesterday, and it was a statistic that said 13% of employees feel that their leader makes the environment a better place for them to work. Only 13%. 13%.
13.
We got to do better than that.
Yeah.
We got to do better than that.
That is so true. So as a HR business partner, you're truly working side by side with these leaders. You're seen as their strategic partner. A lot of times you build these relationships with the leaders so much so they won't make a move without their HR business partner. So, and I enjoy seeing leaders trust their HRBPs. They bring them, they give them a seat at the table, they include them in their leadership teams. So as an HRBP, you've often influenced leaders without any direct authority. How do you build credibility and trust?
I was on a call last week and we were talking about credibility and trust and how it ties into brand. But I believe that credibility comes from consistency and competence, which means you need to know what you're doing and you need to do it all the time.
Yes.
So for me, I focus on, understanding the business and speaking the language of leaders and offering data-driven solutions. Now, trust is built when people can see that your guidance is grounded in both people and operational insights.
Right.
The two have to make sense. And just as importantly, people also trust and give you credibility when you do what you say you're going to do.
Right.
So I try to stick with those things. Mainly just doing what I say I'm going to do. That matters a lot.
Right. Consistency and competency. You are so on point. Consistency plus competency equals credibility. Credibility leads to trust. That is well said.
You have to have them.
Right, you do. Because otherwise, like you said, people won't follow you. People
no.
They're looking to be led. Yeah.
And I don't want to follow anybody who doesn't. I don't want to follow anyone who's not competent and they're not consistent.
Yeah.
So I want to give what I expect to get.
Right. It's exhausting to have to be managing up.
All the time.
You're also leading. Yeah. That's exhausting.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had to coach a technically strong leader, but who struggle with people leadership? So they're smart, they get the vision, they can execute, etc., but they struggle with people leadership. And then if so, how did you approach it?
Well, this is actually pretty common, especially for those who are pretty technical. So I worked in an environment where everyone was technical. And they did suffer with people leadership skills, but they were very, competent and very good on the technical side. I think that is because in my experience, those who are technical, they focus on two things. One is they want to know everything that they should know in the technical realm.
Right.
They want to be the smartest person ever when it comes to that particular profession. The other thing that they love to do is they want to be able to problem solve. They truly want to know how to solve problems technically as well.
Right.
And that is their primary focus. And so when you put them in a leadership role, the focus doesn't change because no one is initiating that change.
Right.
So it's all about, you'll hear them say a lot, I don't have the personality to be a leader, but it's not just about personality. It's getting them to see that just like those technical skills is a skill set, leadership is a skill set too.
Right.
And it's something that you can actually, learn to do and develop.
Right.
So for me, in coaching someone that was technical or is technical and has that lack of people leadership skills, it's about getting them to see that it's a skill set and focusing on the small things while still honoring the fact that their technical skills are outstanding. But it's just focusing on small things like, how are you giving feedback? How are you running your meetings? Just small things so they feel
Yes.
achievable and they don't feel overwhelming.
Right.
Sitting in on those things and observing and giving feedback and doing some role playing. I think that when you start small and you build your way
Right.
up, it works.
Yeah, it's like the small victories add up, and it's like
Right,
building a
right.
muscle, building a muscle. To your
Yes.
point, you're true. If individuals viewed the fact that the people aspect of leadership is it's just a skill, just a
Personality. It's just personality. And they'll tell you first thing, I don't have that.
right. I also feel like if people aren't your passion, you probably shouldn't be leading them
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the higher up you go in leadership, the more it becomes about building others up,
Yep.
trusting them to get things done, communicating, articulating your vision, getting out the way and letting them do it. And that requires a whole different mindset.
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
And
So,
I've noticed that people who are highly technical,
mm-hmm,
they'll handle those aspects, but when any
mm-hmm.
type of employee relations come up, it's, oh, you got to go see HR. They don't want to touch it at all.
At all.
They don't think they're supposed to touch it at all.
Right. Yeah. That's what I seen the most of. They want to outsource all of that to HR. They don't
Yeah,
have nothing to do with, including giving the feedback.
I was just about to
You
say
want to
that.
move the termination, but you've never given this person feedback.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I call it go ahead and have the courageous conversation.
Conversation. Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
care about the people, you will tell them the truth. And you
True.
can do that in a kind, empathetic way.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I know in manufacturing environments, it can be fast paced and operationally driven. How do leaders balance productivity and people?
Well, balancing productivity and people, especially in manufacturing, I think you first have to understand that they're not competing priorities.
Right.
You hear a lot in manufacturing. You have operations and you have people,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't understand that honestly because everywhere that I've been, it's one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make that separation or distinction, people feel left out.
Right.
So it's one understanding that they're not competing priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And your productivity suffers when when people again feel unsafe, they feel
Yeah.
unheard, burned out, or they're not a part of a process,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not moving them along whenever there's change. So the leaders who are good at balancing this, these are the leaders that are going to be the ones who set clear expectations, the
Right.
ones who intentionally work on removing obstacles so you can do your job, making sure that you have all of the tools that you need to be successful. Those are the people that balance productivity and people.
Yes.
But the ones who continue to see it as two separate entities and that they're competing with each other, those leaders don't do too well with balance.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you also have to check in with your people to make sure
Right.
that they're not just about productivity, but how are they doing mentally? How are they doing physically?
Right.
Those are things that you have to do in order to balance the two.
That's so true. Well said.
Thank you.
So, what's one story that solidified for you why leadership style truly matters?
Wow, leadership style truly matters. I'll use this one, and I'll never ever stop telling this story. But I started a new role in a new industry, new company, new industry, and started on a Monday. On Thursday, my mother had a really bad car accident.
Oh, wow.
And one of those car accidents where she had to be cut out of the car and she had to be med flighted to the
Oh,
hospital.
my God.
And again, I'm 4 days on my job. I got the call, I immediately left. My manager, while I'm driving there, called me with my other two team members on three-way, wanting to make sure that I was going to get there safely. So they wanted to talk me there so I could get there safely because I was so nervous about it. And when I called them back to let them know, hey, I would be coming back to the area because they're going to med flight her back. When I made it to the hospital, my manager was already there.
Wow.
She was already there waiting for me when I got there.
That's amazing.
And she stayed there. The next day, when they finally put my mother in a room and things of that sort, she
Mm-hmm.
came back and she brought this big basket full of
Mm-hmm.
like snacks and food. And she was like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know how long y'all are going to be here, but I just want to make sure that you have all these things." And all these things are going through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So over the weekend, I'm still thinking like, "Oh God, this is going to be a long road. This
Mm-hmm.
is going to be a very long road." So that Monday, I went in to work and I really went in to resign
Mm-hmm.
because I just knew that this was going to be a long road.
Right.
And when I got there, she was already there. And when I got there, she came into my office and she said, "I don't know why you're here, but I just want you to know that you shouldn't be here." She
Mm-hmm.
said, "You need to go and take care of your mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to know, because I know you've probably been thinking about it." She read everything I had been thinking about.
Right.
She said, "I know you've been thinking about it, but I know that I hired you for a reason, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that you are going to do all the things that you said you were
Mm-hmm.
going to do. And I'm not worried about that.
Right.
So don't worry about this job. Your job is not in jeopardy. You
Right.
go and you take care of your mother because we believe in family first here.
Mm-hmm.
You go and take care of your mother and you work when you can work. And when you can't work, the rest of the team will just step in and we'll take
Yeah.
care of it for you."
Yeah.
And when she walked out of my office, the
Mm-hmm.
CEO, who was the owner, came into my office and said the exact same thing.
And you had only been there less than a week.
And less than a week. Yeah. And the entire time when I went through that process, she was there the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have to worry about anything. Her, my team, people I had just met,
Wow.
they were there the entire time. That was a long process for me.
Mm-hmm.
And she had nothing. She's like, "You do your work when you can. If you can't, don't worry about it."
Mm-hmm.
So I made sure that when I got to a place to where I could fully
Mm-hmm.
perform, that I made sure that I performed to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that experience. It was the most human thing
Mm-hmm.
I had experienced attached to leadership in my entire career.
Yes.
It truly does matter how you lead people. It
It
truly
really.
does matter how you show empathy and you
Mm-hmm.
show up for people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I will never, ever forget.
Yeah.
And I will never, ever forget her. Never,
Right.
ever forget her. She was the most compassionate
Mm-hmm.
person I had ever worked for.
Mm-hmm.
She was quickly to put herself in other
Mm-hmm.
people's shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and understand that this is just as a job, but
Right.
you take care of family first.
Yes.
So that I'll never forget
Yeah.
that experience.
She's what I call a legacy leader.
Absolutely.
So if she had been any other way, not caring,
Mhm.
had you full of fear and anxiety and unkind, you would have remembered that too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it would have had a more traumatic effect.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's a
Absolutely.
beautiful story. Yeah,
Hmm.
those are the leaders I can count on one hand. The ones that probably would say you probably should resign. I have more of those
Yeah.
experiences. So yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And there were times I came into work to try to work, and she'd be like, "You look tired. You just
Mhm.
go home. Just go home.
Right.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about it."
Yeah.
I truly do appreciate that. I mean, she
Mhm.
knows how much I appreciate it. And I still talk to her this day, consider her
Yeah.
a good friend.
Yes.
Every time I interact with her, I still tell her thank you. She was like, "You're
Mhm.
still telling me thank you about that." Yes.
Yes. That's awesome. I love that story. So, what are three intentional leadership habits you believe every leadership practice?
I would say active listening.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, listening with the intent to understand and not respond.
Mm-hmm.
Another one would be clarity. People
Mm-hmm.
should never have to guess what success looks like,
Right.
and they also shouldn't have to guess how you are going to support them in that.
Right.
Um, Another one, which may be uncommon, but I would say reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just asking on a regular basis, like, how did my actions impact the team?
Yes.
How did my actions impact this particular person?
Mm-hmm.
And getting that type of feedback and doing something with it,
Mm-hmm.
it's extremely important.
Right.
Those three for me would be active listening, clarity, and
And reflection.
self-reflection.
Those are really good. I
Mhm.
remember it's part of my leadership style when I have one-on-ones with my teammates. I usually ask at the end of the one-on-one, how can I support you?
Right.
And what's something I do that you say, oh, I wish Rhoda wouldn't do that. And they always laugh. And then I say, I'm serious. I want to know if it's something I do that
Yeah.
you wish I wouldn't do. So
Yeah.
seeking that feedback, and to your point you just made, reflecting. Yes, those are great. Active listening, reflecting. That's so important. Yeah.
I think that third one we kind of missed out on a lot.
Yeah.
Because some people they don't want to do self-reflection because they can't handle the feedback or they can't handle what they're going to find out when they do it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
got to be able to handle that and do something about it, whether
Yeah.
it's positive or negative. So,
That's true.
mhm.
For emerging leaders that might be listening, they aspire to be a leader one day. They're not there yet, but they're emerging. They're working their way up. What should they focus on early to build a strong leadership brand?
I would say that emerging leaders should focus less on a title and more on reputation.
Yes.
Um, your leadership brand, it's built on small moments.
Mm-hmm.
Those moments on how you follow through, how you treat people under pressure,
Right.
and how you handle feedback. So I always encourage emerging leaders just to be, intentional about the three things that I mentioned earlier about consistency,
Mm-hmm.
um, curiosity, and
Yes.
credibility.
Yes.
Being consistent means, modeling the values and being consistent in your values. And curiosity is just staying curious about the business and the people that are around you.
Right.
And building credibility is, again, doing what you say that you will do. And over time, that becomes your brand.
Right.
And that also becomes a brand that people trust. So reputation is extremely important for emerging leaders.
I agree. I agree. That to me it's usually how you get the opportunity to become a leader is based
Right.
on your reputation.
Reputation. Yeah.
So true. So true.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna move to rapid fire before we close out. Riunita,
right.
one of the questions I want to ask is one word that describes your leadership style.
I would say agile,
Agile.
which
And
gives me
you're
the
able
ability to toggle between
yeah.
different styles based on the situation, the business, the people, and the project.
Yeah. Meeting people where they are.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
What's the best leadership advice you've ever received?
Oh, do not develop a habit of being the first to speak in a meeting. I learned that from a director, and it has been the best piece of advice I've ever gotten because people will eventually tune you out because they come into the meeting with the mindset that they know that you're going to speak first. And they are tired of that. So they tune you out. And while you may have something important and impactful to say, they'll never hear it because they tuned you out because you speak first every time there's an encounter. Yeah.
Wow, that's some good advice there. And then you already talked about an inspiring leader. I don't want to assume, but a leader, past or present, who inspired you the most and why?
Actually, this isn't someone in business that I've worked with or been worked under. Fortunately for me, I'm the youngest of four.
Okay.
So I didn't have to leave my home or go outside of my family to see what leadership looked like. My sister's the oldest, and she's been a great role model for all of us. And if I could pick one, it'd just be her. But if I could pick more than one, I'd say all three of my siblings. But my sister is a strong leader. She's been a perfect role model. She has done everything there is to do. She served her country. She has multiple degrees. She owns her own business. She's done everything there is to do that an eldest sister should do to model for her younger siblings. And I get that first point of leadership from her because she's done that for us our entire lives.
I love that you went to your family, being that I'm the oldest of four girls.
Oh, look at that.
I will hope that at least one of my sisters will say that. but that's beautiful.
Oh yeah, she's the boss.
Yeah.
But she earns the title. She earned the title, and
Yes.
so we let her have it. Yeah.
So, Riunita, I love your philosophy, your mindset, your heart,
Thank
your
you.
passion. This has been such a delightful and insightful conversation. I just thank you for saying yes
No,
to
thank
my
you, Rhoda.
call.
I appreciate you inviting me. I
You
appreciate
won't
it.
be able to get rid of me now because while you were talking, I was like, oh, I need to have her come be a guest speaker and blah blah blah. So I appreciate not only your expertise but your heart for leadership and your commitment to creating workplaces where people feel seen,
Yeah.
heard, supported, and set up for success. And I know our listeners are walking away with some powerful reminders that leadership is not accidental,
No.
it's intentional.
Hmm.
It's in how we communicate, how we show up
Yeah.
in hard moments, and how we create space for others to thrive. So,
Absolutely.
again, thank you for sharing your journey, your lessons, and your leadership truth with us today. And I'll say to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Breakthrough Conversations with Rhoda and Company. And if this episode spoke to you, be sure to subscribe, like, share it with a leader in your life, share it with an emerging leader, and continue doing the inner work that fuels your outer impact. Until next time, keep growing, keep leading, and remember your breakthrough begins here. Thank you for listening.
Hey, what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves me speechless. It could be model multitasking genius, yeah, you got it all. Hey, what's your story? A kick-ass mom and 40 under 40. A soccer practice in your high heel glory, yeah, you do it all.